presents the National Football League. Today, from Los Angeles Coliseum in Los Angeles, California, it's the Denver Broncos versus the Los Angeles Raiders.
Last week, the Raiders getting by Cincinnati by the score of 13-6 in a very physical game. Only one touchdown in the game. That was Wilson to Allen with just over 2 minutes left on a 7-yard play. And Denver coming off the wild one against San Diego. Sam Seal and Fulton Walker await the kickoff, and we're underway. It is Walker. Flag thrown. Fulton Walker, the one-time Miami Dolphin, runs it out across the 31. A 26-yard return run out by Mike Hart. Marcus Allen having another outstanding year. The lone rookie there is Jesse Hester. Todd Christensen was blanked last week by the Cincinnati Bengals, and tackle to tackle, it's Davis, Hanna, Mosbar, Marvin, and Lawrence. First down, Raiders from their 9. And it's Allen. It was all Marcus Allen last week. Reuben Carter, the nose tackle, and Rulon Jones combining. And up front, Jones, Carter, and Chavis. Rulon Jones with 9 sacks going into today, tied for second in the AFC. Carl Mecklenburg off to an outstanding start with 7 sacks. We'll also see a lot of Ken Woodard rotating with Tom Jackson. Steve Foley making his second start since coming off injured reserve, and Dennis Smith off the sensational day last week. Second down and 5, and Wilson able to loft it out. It's broken up, intended for Allen. So let's take a look at the Denver Bronco offense. John Elway in a homecoming in his 3rd season out of Stanford. Gerald Wilhite, one of only 3 healthy running backs with Sammy Wider out of action. You see the rookie Vance Johnson, and they go with the H-back and the tight end at Wright and Kay, and they have been looking for the tight ends the last couple of weeks. Solid offensive line. Studdard, Bishop, Bill Bryan in his 58th consecutive start, Howard and Lanier. So a first down from midfield for the Broncos. We are just underway in Los Angeles. And here's Wilhite. And defensively, as always with the Raiders, we'll see lots of shifting, but Long, Piquel, and Jones. Sean Jones, second-year man from Northeastern, replacing the injured Lyle Alzado. Reggie McKenzie, the rookie from Tennessee, has played very well. And Stacy Turan and Otis McKinney for the injured Mike Davis and Van McElroy. First down and 20 from the 41. Piquel was right there. Yes, they do. Piquel with the sack.
Marv, both quarterbacks have been confused in their first series of plays. The Raiders doing something a little differently. Man-to-man coverage. It was a screen to Elway's right side, and with man coverage, there's a defensive back right in the receiver's face. He couldn't throw the screen, and as soon as Elway saw that it was man coverage, he should have looked somewhere else.
That is Watson, 81, coming across. Elway looking that way, then goes the middle and has it. Let's see where they spot it. It is a touchdown. A 16-yard touchdown pass play. And the Broncos take a 6-0 lead as he split through Turan and McKinney.
Watch the 2 safeties now back here. The 2 safeties are just playing deep now. You'll see the receivers come down. They're man-to-man coverage down here shallow, but the safeties are supposed to help out. Watson will break to the outside and then come back in. There you go, right in front of the safeties. One of the things they missed by having those 2 safeties out of the ballgame.
And Rich Carlos Connects on the extra point. 11 plays, 74 yards, 5 minutes and 11 seconds, capped off by the touchdown pass to Watson.
What's new under the backboard and above the hoop? Find out who's hot and who's not on an Al McGuire preseason basketball special on NBC.
Steve Watson, who moments ago caught his 4th touchdown pass of the season. Elway throwing number 16. And a drive that took some time, 5 minutes, 11 seconds.
Steve Watson has said that with that more speed in the lineup with Vance Johnson, he's getting a lot of attention, and Watson has caught more passes in the last 2 weeks than he has in a long time, and he attributes that to Johnson.
High short kickoff by Carlos, and here's Fulton Walker on the return. And a good one. Fulton Walker running it out for 27 yards on the return. Ricky Hundley tripped him up. Here's another look at that Elway touchdown pass.
Watson in motion. Hayes coming across is going to get lost to the outside, and then Watson is going to go back into the middle. Motion tries to disrupt the bump and run tactics. Now watch Lester Hayes as he comes across. Watson goes back to the inside, and Hayes is to the outside. He's wide open in the middle of the field, and the safeties cannot get there in time. 5
minutes left, first quarter. And the Raiders first down from their 39-yard line. Hester in motion. And it's Marcus Allen. Change of direction. What a move! Marcus Allen goes the distance. Allen goes 61 yards off a spectacular change of direction.
Dan Reeves shakes his head, kind of smiles and says, coming in, we knew we had to stop Marcus Allen. Take him out of the game. Kind of shook his head as if to say, well, that's a great back. You can't stop him all the time.
Marcus Allen with 11 touchdowns in all this season. And that is his longest run in regular season NFL play. We're tied at 7 as Chris Barr puts it right through. Crowd here at the Coliseum still buzzing off the 61-yard touchdown run by Marcus Allen. We're tied at 7. Just under 5 minutes left. In this first quarter, Marv Albert with Bob Greasy and Chris Barr with the kickoff. And Vance Johnson takes to the 20, 25. Fumble, solid blocks, a fumble, and the Raiders think they have it. They do. Barnes in his 9th season out of California. He came up with the ball off the fumble on the return by Vance Johnson. 2nd and 7. Hawkins picking up 3. Hester goes to the left. Williams to the right. Allen and Hawkins, the running backs. Wilson with time. And it's intercepted. Steve Foley, the free safety, on the intercept. And it's change of turnovers. And Mark Wilson hearing it from the crowd. Todd Christensen on the tackle of Foley. For Foley, his 3rd interception of the season.
Steve Foley has always been a big play. You see him at the top of your screen, just looking all the way. Eyes, vision all the way on Marcus Allen. A poor throw. Foley sees it all the way and comes back, and it's interception and fumble return. Fumble recovery evens out the turnovers. Ball was way overthrown. Crossing patterns going over the middle of the field. Foley didn't know who to go with, stayed at home and made the interception.
Wilson has now been intercepted 10 times his last 5 games, and he is 0 for his first 5, so off to a bad start. First down for Elway from the 22. Wilhite up the middle. Out to the 30. 2 seconds left in this first quarter. Sewell Going to the outside, and the Broncos are running well here in the first quarter.
Good blocking inside.
McKenzie on the stop. That's the end of the first at the Coliseum. Denver and Los Angeles tied at 7. 3rd and goal from the 9. We're early second quarter, tied at 7. And a shovel pass, and it works for the touchdown. What a play. Will Height goes 9 yards for the score. Bob, that was not Dwight Gooden, Elway.
No, it wasn't. That was the old shovel pass. And watch Elway pull the defensive man to him and then shovel the pass forward. That's where you give your quarterback up to the defensive end so you can get a touchdown.
Good effort by Will Height. And here's Carlos again. And puts it through. 12:24 remaining. First half. Denver now leading 14-7. 3rd down and 3. And Wilson goes to middle. Doki Williams on a long gator inside the 35. Brought down by Steve Wilson. A 28-yard play.
Good play calling. Tom Flores not throwing the ball deep and not holding the ball real long, as the Raiders have a tendency to do, but a crossing pattern by a wide receiver, Doki Williams, with a lot of speed.
And Wilson has Hutchinson. Touchdown. Pass play, and what a series from Mark Wilson and the Raiders.
Watch this move, and out and up. You saw him look back, and that was the key. When he looked back for the ball, Wilson thought the ball was coming. Now that's, you know, that had to come from some film study during the week for them to know that that would work down in that area of the field. I'll tell you a little bit about the character of the Raiders, having the ball stuffed down their throat the entire way. The offense comes back and not doing much and puts a score on the board.
And Chris Barr trying to even it, and does. 6 plays, 68 yards, a quickie drive, and we're tied at 14. It'll be a 2nd and goal from the 6. 1:06 remaining. First half, we're tied at 14. Rolling right and throwing left for the touchdown to Clarence Kay. How many quarterbacks can do that? The roll to the right and throw across the field.
They probably work on this play a lot in practice, and probably not too often does he throw it way back over to the left side. His primary receiver falls down in the end zone. Now he has 2 other ones, and the arm to get it back all the way across field is something that only Elway, probably 1 or 2 other quarterbacks in the league could make that throw.
An extraordinary play with 59 seconds remaining in this first half. And here's Rich Carlos off the high snap. And Denver now by 7, 21-14. And this one is picked off. Mike Harden. So Harden with his 3rd interception of the season.
Barb, you may have heard me mention a little bit earlier how Wilson looks at his receiver. He looks at him and just stays with him. The defensive backs see Wilson where he's looking. You can't look that long at the primary receiver. You got to be an actor back there. If you're going to throw to the back coming out of the backfield, you got to look to the tight end the other direction. But when he looks at the man all the way, you see 31 Harden just steps right in front of him. You got to be an actor. You got to look right if you're going to throw left.
22 seconds left, first half. Denver takes over at the Raider 34, looking to put some more points on the board. Lots of time. Now here's Piquet, and Elway able to complete. Has a 49-yard attempt. He is 0 for 5 outside of 50, but has succeeded between 40 and 49. And this one is no good. So Carlos not able to hit from 49 yards away. And 4 seconds remaining in the half as we take a look at the reaction of Rich Carlos.
Ball just curving a little left outside the left upright. Kubiak doing a good job to get the ball set up for him.
It was Carlos with a 34-yard field goal with 5 seconds left in regulation last week that sent the game into overtime against the San Diego Chargers. 4 seconds left, and that will do it. And you know the crowd all over Mark Wilson, who missed his first 5, then hit 5, but has not had a good first half.
Earl Campbell rushing for 160 yards. The Saints won at Minnesota 30-23. That wraps up the scoreboard. Now this special report from NBC News.
This is an NBC News special report. Here is John Palmer in New York.
Good afternoon. The hijacking of that Egyptian airliner is now over. Egyptian commandos have stormed the plane as it sat on the tarmac at an airport on the island of Malta in the Mediterranean. And there have been casualties, perhaps lots of them. A government spokesman there in Malta says as many as 50 passengers may have been killed during that assault. NBC News correspondent Stephen Frazier describes what happened.
3 hours after darkness fell here in Malta, we could see a flash of light from the area of the airport where the Egypt airplane was parked. And we could hear a muffled explosion and then the sound of automatic weapons fire. Security forces were attacking the plane. The area which had been blacked out was suddenly floodlit, and ambulances approached the plane in a steady stream. The rescue vehicles crisscrossing the airport, the sound of sirens coming from every direction. Those who could see the attack say the casualties are bound to be high. They said that they saw a flash coming from the center of the plane, and then flame and smoke spread from the plane, so it was difficult to tell what was happening. This is Stephen Frazier, NBC News, Lua, Malta.
No Americans were aboard the plane at the time of the commando assault, but earlier an American woman was believed to have been killed by the terrorists aboard the plane. The State Department says United States help had been offered to Cairo, but in the end they say it was strictly an Egyptian operation. Not clear yet who the 4 hijackers were. Complete details later on this NBC station. I'm John Palmer, NBC News, New York.
There you see the turnovers, 2-1. The Raiders only 6 first downs. Time of possession is big for the Broncos, and 6 of 16 for Mark Wilson. First half, I think, has been pretty inconsistent. That's about the way he came into the game. There were some spurts where he played very well, but then the other times, not so well.
And it was a first half of streaks as Wilson missed his first 5 and then connected on 5 in a row.
And I think Denver is pretty much on line to what we said going in. They've established some run, which has allowed Elway to have more time to throw.
Allen led by Hawkins. Allen breaks the tackle. Steve Foley could not contain him. And the Raiders now deep in Denver territory.
What a great player this man is. I alluded to it a little early. Very durable. The Raiders lean on him. He has got to be one of the best running backs in the game, not only for his running ability, he can throw the football, and a great receiver coming out of the backfield. In fact, coming into this year, he had caught 4 more passes in 26 of the 41 games that he played in. Great receiver, great talent.
28-yard run. Puts him over 100 on the day, as you saw. And they go right back to him. Steve Busick on the stop.
You know, Marv, one of the problems of having such a good back as Allen in the backfield, you have a tendency to go to him too often. You don't want to go to him too much, but by the same token, you want to get him the ball so he can do some things with it. But you got to have that fine balance where you don't overuse him, but yet you don't underuse him.
And here's Allen for the first down. Inside the 5. It'll be a first and goal at the 3. Busick on the stop of Marcus Allen. Marcus Allen has gone over 100 yards 7 times in 8 games, 7 out of the last 8. He had 135 against Cincinnati last week. And right now the Raiders first and goal from the 3. Play action with time. Has a man open, touchdown. It's Trey Junkin. They went triple tight end. Junkin in his 3rd year out of Louisiana Tech with his first touchdown. His 2nd catch as a pro.
Used to be a linebacker. He probably caught more passes being a linebacker than he has as tight end.
And Chris Barr has tied it at 21 with 8:55 left. 3rd quarter. 8:55 remaining. 3rd quarter. The kickoff by Barr looked to surprise the Broncos. Let's see. The 10 yards, and the Raiders have recovered.
Looks as though Chris Barr makes the reception.
It was Barr who came up with it.
Watch the middle. There's nobody for the Broncos in the middle. He just kicks it 10 yards and says, I'll go get it. You defend me.
Denver 21, Los Angeles Raiders 21. They line up in the eye now. And the bootleg, and Wilson has it. Touchdown. Beautiful thing.
You could almost see the confidence level in Mark Wilson soaring as he fakes to the right, draws all the Broncos. He has a receiver in the end zone, Parker, waiting for him, and he says, I'll just take it the land route and score the touchdown myself.
And it was the squib kick by Chris Barr that Barr recovered that has led to this. And the Raiders move in front now with Barr putting it through. They lead it by the score of 28-21. We'll be right back.
The cases on the People's Court are real people. They're involved in a lawsuit, and that is what brings the conflict, because each side thinks that he or she is going to win. They may say things that normally would have to be bleeped out. They're very spontaneous. Oftentimes, they get into exchanges with each other. He's a liar, she's a liar, and they go back and forth. They're just as human as anyone else. People don't like to lose.
The People's Court, absolutely, undeniably real.
Monday at 5 here on Channel 11.
This is one of the reasons why 75 Howie Long getting a lot of attention. 64 Bryant holds his arm out and says, wait a minute, I got to help over here. Howard doing a good job. Bishop in there. Howie's looking, saying, they're holding me, coach, they're holding me.
Howie Long, a man who combines enormous strength with quickness. 3rd down and 8. Took a pop. It was really rough. Intended for Steve Watson. It was Long on the hit of Elway.
Howie Long from the right side this time. He scoots out over there against Studdard. Runs around Studdard, and Elway barely gets it off, but he'll remember that blow. Wrapped up like a pretzel.
Very clever banner there. Very nice.
Yes.
Guaranteed to get on camera with the mentality of our director and producer. All right, that's the end of the third quarter here at the Coliseum, with the Raiders leading the Broncos 28-21. First and goal at the 6. And it's Sewell dancing outside. And pushed back. They have gotten to the 4. Let's see where they mark it. Steve Sewell, the rookie from Oklahoma, was stacked up by Stacy Turan.
Marv, the coaches on the sideline will look for certain players to substitute. Steve Sewell comes into the ball game. They probably thought that Denver was going to throw the ball because Sewell has been catching the ball rather than running it. So the Raiders substituted their pass defense players, and he had to run. But there's a lot of strategy going on in the press box.
Second and goal from the 4, and it's Sewell. Sewell is in. Touchdown. His second touchdown in the National Football League. The other one coming on a 54-yard pass play. And the Broncos move within 1.
Sewell, good blocking up front. You see Bishop pulling and leading Wilhite, 47. Mike Haynes just covering his man. Now he sees the hole, cuts up to the inside, and dives into the end zone for the touchdown.
Steve Sewell, who has carried the ball 7 times for 28 yards, bringing Denver within 1. Now Rich Carlos will look to tie it. The holder is Kubiak. And we are even at 28. 9 plays for 56 yards. We'll be right back. All right, here is Wilson. Time running out. And let's see, 1 second remaining.
They'll have a shot at it.
They certainly do. 1 second remaining. And it's Jesse Hester, the man who dropped the touchdown pass earlier in the game, coming up with a clutch reception.
Good protection. Wilson making sure he doesn't get it picked off. Throws it over 2 defenders and steps out with 1 second. As you look, Hester at the bottom of your screen, throwing it in between. Hester with a presence. Here we go.
And this will be about a 40-yard kick. He hit from 41 earlier this year. His longest ever, 45. This is for the ball game.
Yeah!
So we go to overtime. 2nd and 9. The completion. Doki Williams pulling away. And a flag down. Steve Busick, number 58, finally brought him down and may have been a face mask. So they'll tack on some yards, 42 yards plus the penalty.
Right here, the receiver is going to come down and break to the outside. The defensive back is going to miss the tackle, and then Busick will have to come all the way from his linebacking position down and breaks to the outside. That's Harden, 31, missing the tackle. 3 other Broncos knock each other off. And now Busick tries to knock the ball loose, pulls his face mask.
You keep the juices flowing. You are the muscle, the hope and the hustle. You keep the country growing, and you make America work, and this fight's for you.
Here's to you, Beechwood Age, for that clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
This fight's for you.
2.5 minutes into overtime. 3rd down situation, and Chris Barr looking to end it from 32 yards away. Here it is. It is all over. A sweet feeling for Barr, who missed at the end of regulation from 40. The Raiders have won it over the Broncos in overtime.